We have a top 12 matchup waiting for you in men's lacrosse here on a chilly Saturday afternoon. Temperatures in the 40s here at Sekou Stadium as a number 12 ranked Princeton Tigers get ready to take on your number 2 Maryland Terrapins. Happy to have you joining us in the broadcast. I'm Jackson Wantman, joined alongside my partner Andrew Breza. And Andrew, both teams coming into this game looking to bounce back after a loss.
Yeah, Jackson, a rough start for Princeton, losing to Penn State at home last week, and obviously not a great result for the Terps last week either, falling to Syracuse for the first time since 2009. Both teams looking for a rebound game. Maryland under John Tillman has been good in rebound games. Under him, they're 29-8 in their next game following a loss. They'll look to move that to 30 wins here today.
Yeah, and for Princeton, it was a tough upset loss at home to Penn State, 13-7. They're going to look to bounce back with Coach Matt Madelon in his 10th season at the helm. And Maryland, not a loss that you really hang your head on too much. I mean, Syracuse now the number 1 team in the country. It was a 1-versus-2 matchup then, but a matchup today that Maryland really feels like they can win. And as we get ready for face-off here, starting lineups for each team for the Tigers, it's going to be Colin Burns, Nate Kabiri, Chad Palumbo, Peter Bonono, Hunter Spies, Finn Fox, Tucker Wade, Ryan Croddick in goal, Jack Stahl on defense, and John Dumphy. For the Terps, it's going to be the number 1, Eric Spanos. And we have Jack Schultz, Braden Urksa, Will Schaller, Leo Johnson, Michael Alexander, Peter Lake, Elijah Stoball, Chris Lyons, and Brian Rupel, the new netminder for the Terps in his senior year with the team, but taking over for the legendary Logan McNaney. And coming at the X for the Terps, it's going to be the Vermont transfer, Henry Dodge, 70% from the X last season. He is going to look to go up against Andrew McMeekin for Princeton. It's going to be Maryland in their home whites with black helmets and black shorts going right to left. It's going to be Princeton with the white helmet, orange jersey, white shorts going left to right. We are almost set and ready to go here at Sekou Stadium. Referees getting set. The face-off men are on their feet. And the whistle is blown. It's an easy win for McMeekin, but a violation is called. They're going to say he went early. It's going to be Maryland possession. It's going to start with George Stamos now for the Terps coming on quickly, and he's going to try to initiate some offense. He's going to get it to Jack Schultz now. He's going to start from up top. He's going to move down left. Elijah Stoball coming on for the Terps. He's going to go to X. There's Urksa. Back over to Schultz. Schultz, the true sophomore, saw a lot of run as a freshman. He's going to get a screen. He's up top. Slides it down low. Here's Stoball. Stoball coming around left. He fires it. Saved. Ryan Croddick. And Princeton's going to look to push the pace here. Sprinting downfield. Here comes Princeton. It's an early goal. Right off the bat, it's Cooper Mueller for the Tigers. And with 14:26 left to go in the first quarter, it's an early 1-0 lead.
That was a beautiful transition offense there from Princeton. Like you said, Jackson, they moved with a lot of pace, a great save on the defensive end, and Cooper Mueller takes it right down and gets it right past Rupel. Not the way that Maryland wants to start, especially after Princeton made a mistake. Maryland is big on capitalizing on their opponent's mistakes, but so far, nothing going for the Terps.
It's Cooper Mueller's first of the season. It's going to be Russ Fitzgerald, the true freshman, taking the faceoff for Princeton with McMeekin sideline after the violation. And we're getting another violation on Princeton. 2 straight violations. So Henry Dodge now 2 for 2 without having to win a single draw. Here comes Maryland now trying to initiate some offense. Zach Whittier, the graduate student's got it up top. He's trying to work on this Princeton defense. On his right hand, he's going to try to move around X. He is at X now. He's going to fire it over to Matt Higgins, another coveted 5-star, one of the many on this Maryland squad. He's going to spin around, slides it to Urksa. Urksa gets a screen, tries to go up top, is going to cut it back inside to number 18, Spencer Ford. Maryland, 13:49 left to go, 45 seconds left on the shot clock. Here's Spanos now. Maryland, Higgins now behind X, looking for a man. He's going to try to come around left, bounces out. Here's Maryland swinging it around up top. Leo Johnson with it. The Yale transfer, he's double covered, tries to flip it out. They are going to get it out. It's Ford. Here's Spanos now. Closely guarded by this Princeton defense. Urksa comes around X. He fires, Higgins shoots, he scores! It's Zach Whittier off the pass. And it's a tie game with 13:20 left to go.
That's exactly the response that you want if you're John Tillman and this Maryland lacrosse team. Very methodical possession there down in Princeton's end. Looked like they were going to cough it up there for a second, Jackson, but they came back, they moved it around, and Zach Whittier, the program veteran, ties this one up for Maryland.
It was congested at the X, but Maryland now is going to send out Jonah Carrier, the sophomore, for the faceoff. McMeekin back on for the Tigers. Carrier struggled in the little run he got against Syracuse. But in Maryland as a whole, there's going to be a fight for this ground ball, and it's going to be almost picked up by McMeekin. And a holding violation on the Terps. So 3 faceoffs, 3 violations. And Princeton's going to have it. It's going to start with Chad Palumbo, the superstar from Newton, Massachusetts. It's John Dunphy with it now, who's going to initiate some possession. Coming on now is Peter Bonono, working on Peter Lake. Here's number 18, Tucker Wade. Number 19. It's now 13 minutes left to go. 2 minutes into this one. It's 1-1 as Bonono, closely guarded by the stout Maryland defense. Here's Palumbo now at GLE. Trying to push inside. Won't. He's going to swing it around. Try to reset. Thought about going X. Guts back on his right hand. Inside, and he scores near post. Chad Palumbo, his second goal of the year, is able to sneak it by Rupel. It's 2-1 Princeton.
Yeah, not a great possession there for Maryland's defense, Jackson. Rupel, I think, was expecting some help from the side that the shot came from out of Palumbo's stick, and it gets right under his left side, his right side, our left side, right underneath him. Definitely not the best defensive start for Maryland here early.
Yeah, Palumbo was able to get the inside leverage on Peter Lake, and a near post goal is never something you want to see from your Tendy. As Jonah Carrier now back out for the Terps, his second face-off in a row. He's going to flip it back out to himself. Easy possession for Maryland. He's going to run it up the right side. He's going to get a pass out to number 52, Trevor Owens. We'll just slide it off. Here's Spanos now all the way up at midfield, being hassled by Jack Stahl. Spanos going to flip it up to Jack Schultz. The second line midfield coming on for the Terps. Chris Lyons also on for Maryland. Here comes Elijah Stovall. Stovall's been surprisingly one of the go-to goal scorers for Maryland this season. He's got 5 through the first 2 games. As here comes Schultz now. Slides it down to number 45, Chris Lyons. One of those 3 Yale transfers on this team. Spanos shoots right off the pass. An underhand goal. 3 minutes, 4 goals. And we are tied at 2-2.
And that's why Eric Spanos has been voted a multi-time All-American. First time All-Big Ten, United States Intercollegiate Lacrosse Team All-American, and the 64th player in Maryland history to reach 100 career points. It's that finesse that he brings to the table on offense, Jackson. Just a beautiful shot from the left side. I don't think Princeton's goalie was expecting any sort of shot at that point, but he's able to get it in down low.
Spanos obviously wearing the coveted number 1 for the Terps, the graduate student, as Dodge back out for the Terps. Take the face-off. That's his first 2. It's a scrum for it. He's able to get the clamp. Can't pick up the ground ball. There's a fight for it. It's Princeton possession. Princeton will try to initiate some attack now. It's Colin Burns. Slides it to Palumbo. Palumbo passes it to Bonono. Now with his left hand in the top corner. Working on Michael Alexander. He's going to wait for some subs to come on. Like he was waiting for Parker Reynolds. Parker Reynolds now has a short stick matchup. Flies downfield. Is going to turn around. Passes it up to Tucker Wade. Tucker Wade takes a shot saved by Rupel. And the shot is going to go into the crease. There's another fight for it. As Will Schaller was able to get the possession. And he's got it now on the clear for Maryland. And a early whistle. And the referee's blowing something. Say that it's Princeton possession. Seems like there's a lot of pointing in each direction. Looks like they're just going to have Maryland restart their clear.
That was impressive from Schaller on the defensive end. He was getting hacked a number of times. Is able to wait for his guy Rupel to come to get possession.
11 minutes left in the first quarter. It's 2-2. Here's Rupel with it. He's going to get it to Schultz, who's going to get by Jackson Green. Schultz now at about the 30-yard line here at Sekou Stadium. He's going to pass it down to Braden Erkso, who's at X. On his left hand now. Spins around, tries to get around the crease. Is going to bounce out after a quick slide. Here's Elijah Stobaugh. He's going to fire it downfield. Or across field. Here's Higgins. Chris Lyons now. Fires around, and there's Higgins. He scores. All right, it's Leo Johnson. The Yale transfer came around up the left post, sneaks it top corner, and he's got his 8th goal of the season. It's 3-2 Maryland.
And Jackson, this is a hallmark of these John Tillman Maryland teams. Obviously been one of the best teams in the country for over a decade now, and they're built on some of these starts that they get down at first, but they're able to quickly rebound. 4 possessions, 3 goals for Maryland. 4 possessions, 3 goals for Princeton. But Maryland's starting to change the tide here a little bit. They get a stop on the defensive end, and once again, it's the methodical offense down low that gives them their first lead of the game.
Leo Johnson, one of 3 Yale transfers John Tillman brought in, and boy, has he been a huge impact for a Terps offense that lacked a little bit of consistent offense last year. It's an easy win for McMeekin. He's going to fly down. Do we have a Fogo go? He's stopped by Alexander right in his tracks. Palumbo tries the backward shot. And after the chaos, Ruppel's able to come up with it. Princeton trying to respond quickly. Here's Brian Ruppel with it now on the clear. He's coming up to about midfield. He's going to try to pass it off to Higgins. He won't get it. Here's Schaller now, who's across midfield on the offensive end. He's going to pass it off to Johnson. Johnson to Zach Whittier, one of the 4 goal scorers today for the Terps. Whittier now as Matt Higgins comes on. He's up top. Near midfield, back to Whittier on the right side. Whittier cuts to his right, trying to get downfield. Whittier passes it off to X. X Maryland trying to find something to do here. 9.5 minutes left to go. Approaching 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Erksa trying to find someone. Leo Johnson behind X. He tries to come around the left side again. Won't find an alley. Here's Higgins. Down at GLE is Erksa. Back to X is Leo Johnson. Under 20 left on the shot clock. Johnson tries to cut inside. Whittier with it now behind X. Fires the quick shot, scores! Maryland extends the lead to 2 goals. It's the redshirt freshman Spencer Ford, his 3rd of the year. It's 4-2 Maryland with 9:08 left to play.
And the Terps are taking advantage of a little bit of a weakness with this Princeton defense. Just circling it around a number of times. All 4 of their goals have come from down low shots, and also many of them have come from bounces too.
Yeah.
Princeton's defense doesn't really look like it has an answer for this Terps offense so far.
It's an assist from Zach Whittier, his 2nd of the year. Ryan Croddick, the reigning Ivy League goalie of the year and first team Ivy League, has just a 43% save percentage coming into this game. He's just letting his 4th goal. We get
not
set
the kind
for
of response from this Princeton team that they would want, head coach Matt Madelon would want.
Here's Carrier back out for the faceoff. Referee makes sure the sticks are set. Goes, and it's a quick one for McMeekin, but a little too quick. Another violation. George Stamos is going to take it now. Under 9 minutes left to play here. Maryland leads 4-2. Here's Elijah Stobaugh with it. Off the pass from Stamos, Maryland switches out into their offensive midfield. Chris Lyons, Jack Schultz with it. Schultz flying downfield. Will he take a shot? Won't. Here's Stobaugh coming around up top on his left hand. And the pass to Spanos just over the stick of the graduate student. So Maryland trying to make a couple quick substitutions. It's A.J. Larkin now. Onto the field. Also Eric Kolar, one of the few Tewaaraton watch list players for the Terps. Here's Princeton now. First real offensive possession in a while. What can they do with it? Here's Chad Palumbo. He's going to pass it off to Peter Bonono. Bonono to John Dunphy. Dunphy, the senior midfielder, started 3 of all 17 games he played in last season. The dodge left to right, packs it back out, almost intercepted by Maryland. Tucker Wade at X now. Chad Palumbo, 8 minutes left, 40 seconds left to play in this possession. He's got a short stick matchup. What's he going to do with it? He's got Kolar. The quick pass across field, and it's a goal for Princeton. John Dunphy was left open. The cross net pass from Chad Palumbo, and it's a right-handed goal for Dunphy. That's his first of the season. It's 4-3 Maryland now, 7:51 left to go.
Jackson, the story of this game so far has been mistakes. You've seen it from Princeton's end with 3 violations on the face-off. Maryland not able to take advantage of that last one with the sloppy pass and the turnover. Like you said, gave Princeton their first real opportunity on offense, and we were able to see another one of the best offenses in the country go to work. Beautiful pass across the middle of the defense, and an even better shot there from Dunphy.
It's Palumbo's second assist of the season, and one of the first real offensive possessions the Tigers have had in a few minutes. They are able to capitalize. It's another fight for the faceoff. It's Russ Fitzgerald now coming up with it against Carrier. He flies downfield on his left hand, cuts back to his right, looking for someone to flip it off to. He finds an outlet. It was Cooper Kistler, and the Tigers have possession once again. Here's Tucker Wade with it up at midfield. Terps defense gets set as some substitutions come on for Princeton. Bonono and Dunphy back on. Here's Dunphy. With it now, is going to slide it back over. Princeton, Maryland playing close defense here. 7:15 left to go in the quarter. Dunphy now up top on his right hand. Passes it back out. Quickly Princeton. Michael Alexander trailing very well on Tucker Wade. Princeton will try to reset. Peter Bonono on the top right corner. 30 seconds left on the shot clock. He's going to make his way to GLE. He's going to try to work his way around X. Colin Burns sets a screen. Bonono tries to come around on his left hand, top left corner. A beautiful goal for Peter Bonono, his second of the season. And the reigning unanimous Ivy League Rookie of the Year. Just a beautiful goal, wrapping around X and on his left hand, getting it by the stick of Brian Rupel. Just like that, we're tied at 4.
You said it beautifully, Jackson. He was the unanimous Ivy League Rookie of the Year for a reason, and you saw it on display there. Basically doing it all himself, switching the point of attack, going around the goal. It looked like for a second he wasn't going to take a shot, and then quickly fires back and gets it in that top left corner. A beautiful shot from Bonono.
It's a quick 2-goal swing for Princeton. It's a 4-4 game now. Henry Dodge back out for the Terps. McMeekin for the Tigers at the X. That ball is shot out from behind McMeekin. He's going to pick up the ground ball. It's another Princeton possession. He's going to try to find an outlet. It's quickly intercepted by Maryland. Leo Johnson is able to pick that one off. McMeekin had to throw it up. He was nearly triple covered by Maryland. Really good defense for the Terps. Here's Aiden Aiken now. His first run of the game. Spencer Ford now making it to GLE's at about the 25-yard line. Here's Aiken. Over to Zach Whittier. 2 players behind X from Maryland. It's Urksa and Johnson. Urksa back to Johnson. Johnson's left now. Slide it back to Urksa. Urksa turns around. Spanos on his right hand. Near the left post. Trying to work some offense. 6 minutes left to go here in the first quarter of play. It's a 4-4 game. Spanos on his right hand. Fires. What a save from Croddick. That ball is going to go behind the end zone. It's going to stay with Maryland. 5:45 left. Here's Aiken. Kicks off a loose ball, and they are going to restart possession from the corner. Here's Urksa behind X. Still looking for him to get going now. Urksa turns around. Here's Aiden Aiken at X. Leo Johnson quickly inside, and harassed is Spencer Ford by multiple Princeton defenders. That ball's in the air. Ball's on the ground. Coming up with it is Princeton. A stout defense for the Tigers. Here they come now. They're going to cross midfield. Here's Chad Palumbo. It was Jack Stahl who picked up the GB. Palumbo is going to get a screen. One-on-one with Rupel. Can't get it by him. It's going to go off his cleat. Out of bounds. Possession Maryland. They got to it quicker. Brian Rupel is going to take it out of the end zone for the clear. Here comes Will Schaller flying up the right side. He's going to get it over the stick of Nate Kabiri, who's been awfully quiet today. And the Terps have some offense now. Here's Stamos. Does he have room? Won't take the shot. Maryland going to reset now. Leo Johnson with it. Kolar is going to stay on the field. Looked like he was running off. Tillman's going to signal him off so that Jack Schultz can cross midfield. Here's Larkin with it. Back over to Schultz. Terps running some substitutions. On comes Stobaugh. Stovall with it now, center. Left to right dodge. Schultz slides it down left. Here is Chris Lyons. Lyons comes around top, being harassed by Zach Friedman. Here's Spanos with it now, brushing off a defender with his left shoulder. 26 seconds left on the shot clock. Jack Schultz on his right, switches over a swim dodge, over to X. Here's Urksa, thought about coming around. Stovall thought about the shot, no. Chris Lyons, Leo Johnson with it. Switches to his right hand. Johnson coming around. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Maryland's going to need something fast here. Here's Stovall trying to get inside leverage on Jackson Green. The ball is going to go out of bounds off the errant pass. And it looks like Maryland's just going to dump this one in the corner. And it'll be a shot clock violation. That's exactly what Jack Schultz will do here. 3:50 left to play.
And Jackson, after a quick start on offense for both these teams, now a number of possessions for both sides, not resulting in any productivity on offense. The defense stepping up and making plays.
First possession all game for either side where the shot clock has gone down to 0. Here comes Princeton. Trying to see what they can do. Here's Nate Kabiri, the junior, over to Peter Bonono. He's got Tucker Wade with him. And here comes John Dunphy. This is the line that has produced much of the goals today for Princeton. Here's Dunphy. He's already got one. He's got the short stick D-Midi on him. It's James Gardiner, and the ball's down. It's picked up by Larkin. Ball's out again. He couldn't corral it. There's a fight for it. And Larkin is able to come up with it. Rupel behind the goal. He's harassed. Defender, he is being hounded by Colin Burns. He's able to get it out. Really nice job. As here's Trey Fleece. A great job by Rupel, staying calm under pressure. Here's Leo Johnson with it. Coming around X to Braden Urksa. Urksa over to Elijah Stobaugh with it. Stobaugh, Schultz. This Stobaugh, Schultz, and Chris Lyons midfield line has done a lot for Maryland this season. Stobaugh, Spanos with it. Has a long stick matchup. Doesn't like what he sees. Going to pass it back out to Stobaugh. Stobaugh on his left hand, over to his right hand. Near the right post, gets it to X. Leo Johnson trying to quarterback this offense. 2:20 left to play in the first quarter. It's a 4-4 game still. Johnson, a violation's going to be called on Maryland. And another turnover for the Terps. Croddick trying to start a clear now. He's going to make his way at a goal. Leo Johnson trying to ride. Finn Fox with it. The sophomore defenseman's going to cross midfield. Trying to find an outlet. He does. That is in the stick of Jake Vanna, 2 Massachusetts kids going back and forth with one another. Here's Carson Kramer now. Junior midfielder. Up top with it is Parker Reynolds. Parker Reynolds has a short stick matchup with Thomas Gravino. Reynolds tries to get it inside over at X. He slides to number 36. Jake Vanna is at GLE. He has Eric Kolar on him. Coming up top with his left hand. Vanna trying to find an outlet. 30 seconds left on the shot clock. He gets it to Palumbo. Palumbo up top. He's got Alexander on him close. They're going to try to reset. Here's Reynolds. Up top, number 21, Kramer. Ball's down. Good defense from Larkin. Picking it up now is Maryland. That's Michael Alexander. Really good defense from the graduate student. As Spanos has got it, as well as Schaller and Alexander will cross midfield to allow subs to come on for the Terps. Spanos gets it to Whittier now. Aiden Aiken also on. 45 seconds left to play in the first quarter. It's a 4-4 ball game. Spencer Ford also coming in for John Tillman's squad. Aiden Aiken didn't play against Syracuse, but getting some early run here. Maryland can hold it till the end of the quarter. Shot clock is meaningless. 25 seconds left now. Aiken now starts his run, gets downfield, quickly blows by Cooper Mueller. Here's Spanos at GLE, coming around up top, 13 seconds left. Spanos looking for an outlet, quickly double covered, tries to get it inside to Ford, but the ball goes down. It's a long pass from Croddick. Here's Nate Kabiri now, 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left, 2 seconds left. Kabiri tries to get the pass off, loses the ball, And that will do it for the first 15 minutes of play here. Some early fireworks from both sides, but the offense died down a little bit in the second half of the first quarter as it is 4-4 after one. Andrew, what are your thoughts on this first 15 minutes?
That was a crazy transition between a dynamic start on offense for both teams to shut down defense. You had 8 total goals in just over 8 minutes, Jackson. Last goal came at the 6:48 mark, and then no goals for the rest of that first quarter. These two teams are both making mistakes, but neither are able to capitalize off the other's mistakes because they're making mistakes of their own. It's been a very interesting start to this one, and we have a good one on our hands, I think.
Yeah, we definitely have the makings of a great matchup and what is a loaded Saturday slate of college lacrosse. We'll take a break with you and be back for the second quarter here on WMEC Sports.
Back here in College Park, we've got a great top 12 matchup brewing. Because after the first quarter, Maryland and Princeton are tied at 4 goals apiece here at CQ Stadium in College Park. The first game for the Terps in their typical home stadium after their home opener against Loyola was held inside due to snow a couple weeks ago. First time that fans are here to watch one of the best programs in the country. Jackson, after that dynamic first quarter, what are you looking for here in the second for either team to try and gain an edge?
I'm just looking for both offenses to really settle in here in the second quarter. There was a lot of just chaos that was going on, a lot of violations at the face-off X, which usually causes some of that stress for both teams. Looking for both teams to settle in, not feel like they have to take the first shot, really use the game plan that both teams have worked so hard on this week.
And we are officially underway here in the second quarter as Andrew McMeekin won the faceoff against Henry Dodge, and Princeton will start on offense. Moving it behind the goal, it'll be Colin Burns. Local guy, went to Georgetown Prep, just 20 minutes down the road. Princeton resetting, going back to the left side. It's John Dunphy, one of Princeton's goal scorers in that first quarter. Dunphy off for Tucker Wade. Now Wade bringing it up. Met right away by Maryland's defense. Wade moving to the left side, now back behind for Nate Kabiri. Kabiri, another Georgetown Prep guy. He and Burns have played 6 seasons together at club ball, Georgetown Prep, and now for Princeton. Kabiri spinning it around, bringing it back around. Trying to pass inside, does get his pass inside there to Chad Palumbo. Palumbo loses it. Beautiful defensive play there by Michael Alexander, one of the Yale transfers.
Michael Alexander really starting to hold his own against Palumbo after a tough early start.
Maryland trying to get it across midfield, and some tough defense there from Nate Kabiri and Owen Fisher.
It was a really
Elijah Stobaugh.
It was a really good ride from Princeton's defense. Just looked like they were a little bit too aggressive there.
So Stobaugh will start at midfield for the Terps. Their first offensive possession here in this second quarter. Stobaugh taking it from right to left. Looking for an outlet. Finds one in Chris Lyons. Another Yale transfer. Lyons moving to the left. Lyons looked like he was going to shoot it for a second. Now passes it off to Spanos. Now back to Stobaugh at the top. Stobaugh trying to move inside. Stobaugh now going to the right, trying to spin, find something. Back off for Lyons. Or excuse me, that's Jack Schultz. Schultz now in the corner. Behind the net is Spanos. Now it's Urksa behind the net. Urksa moving inside, spinning around. Tough defense there from Princeton that will result in a penalty. But Maryland will stay with possession. Schultz, Spanos, now to the left. Spanos switching the point of attack, going to the right now. Spanos trying to find something, anything. Passing it off for Urksa, switching the point of attack. It's Leo Johnson. Johnson behind for Chris Lyons. Princeton staying right in front of their goal. A shot there from Lyons. Misses. But it'll still be Maryland possession after the penalty on Princeton.
It was a good slide from the Princeton defense. They've been doing it well so far today, but just a little bit too aggressive there. Looked like it was probably a high stick or a cross check. Maryland has been 0 for 3 in their man-up opportunities this season. We'll see what they do against this Princeton team that has done well. Haven't allowed a man-down goal. Didn't against Penn State. They're going to try to keep that going here.
Hamish McPherson checked in for the Terps today. Did not play against Syracuse, but scored his first career goal in the season opener against Loyola. Both teams still getting set. Referee holding Urksa at about the 10-yard line here in Siku. Urksa to Spanos, now to Stovall. Stovall flipping it to Johnson. Johnson on the right side. Now back for Urksa and right back to Johnson. Johnson looking for something inside. Passes it to Stovall. Stovall switches it to Panos. Panos back to Urksa. Urksa now down low. Passes it back to Spanos now for Stovall. Stovall to Leo Johnson. Johnson. Looks like he wants to take a shot. Now Stovall fakes it. Spanos to Urksa once again. Now back for Stovall on the right side. He shoots. What a save there. Beautiful job there by Princeton goalie Ryan Croddick.
A good possession for Maryland there. Move the ball around quickly. Not the worst shot from Stovall. Just a nice save. A little too on target for Croddick to make that one.
Now Princeton will go back on offense as both teams make some substitutions. Trey Fleece in for the Terps on defense. Princeton with it at the top. Peter Bonato. Pass it off for Tucker Wade. Wade bringing it inside, moving to the left. Wade looking for Kabiri in the middle, but can't get it to him. Now Wade going behind the goal. Sends it off for Peter Bonato. Peter Bonato on the right side. Guarded there by Thomas Gravino. 11-10 here to play in the second quarter. Still 4-4 as Princeton looks to try to take another lead. A shot there, and it goes wayward to the right. Brian Ruppel was in position on that one, but it wasn't the best shot there from Princeton. But they will get to it and keep possession with just 11 seconds left on the shot clock. Princeton trying to move quickly. Going behind to the right. It's John Dunphy. He shoots inside, does not get it. Princeton recovers and then loses it. And it'll be a shot clock violation on Princeton. Maryland now moving with some tempo, trying to get to the cross, and they do. Sent off there for AJ Larkin. Larkin now for AJ.
Maryland now, really nice awareness from Will Schaller. Picking up the ball, immediately flying down the field as the ref blew the whistle. Maybe a little lucky they didn't call him back there, but allowed Maryland at least a chance to get some man-up offense.
Now it'll be Matt Higgins for the Terps. Moving it inside for Urksa. Urksa takes a shot, misses it to the right, but Maryland will be the first team there and will keep possession. 10:05 here to play, still a 4-4 game, and Maryland has plenty of time with 42 seconds left on the shot clock.
Love to
Spanos. Spanos guarded tightly there by Jack Stahl. Spanos now trying to move it inside. Passes it off. A shot inside and a save by Craddock, but it's recovered by Maryland. Matt Higgins. Or excuse me, that's Leo Johnson. Johnson to Urksa. Now off on the left side. Stovall. Stovall sends it off. A shot and another beautiful save there by Craddock. Or excuse me, Craddock.
good shots for the Terps. A couple shots that actually challenged Craddock. You can take a lot of shots, but you got to put them in places where it makes it difficult for the goalie to save. There's been one too many shots for the Terps that have been straight to the chest.
It'll be Princeton back on offense. Craddock coming up big for them on the defensive side. 241 saves last season, the second most all-time in Princeton history. Now Princeton will reset. Carson Kramer taking it along the left side. Defense here by Eric Kolar. Pass it off for Kabiri. Kabiri back for Parker Reynolds. Reynolds switching the point of attack. Gets it off there for Carson Kramer. Kramer sends it off to the right side, moving it in. A pass inside, and another save there, but it's quickly repossessed by Princeton. But a fumble for the ball will result once again in Maryland ball. Another beautiful job there by Maryland goaltender Brian Ruppel. Now Maryland back on offense, trying to move it inside. It's quickly intercepted. That's Owen Fisher. Now Princeton moving with some tempo. It was quickly a 3-on-3, but now Princeton will slow it down and reset.
So really good defensive possession from Maryland, not letting Princeton get a second chance look, but too lazy of a pass right there from Eric Kolar. Should have seen Fisher right behind Alexander or put the pass a little bit more in front of him. 8 minutes to go now, still no goals.
These two defenses have turned it up since that 6:48 mark in the first quarter. Tucker Wade for Princeton, moving inside. He sends it off to the right. Now it's back for John Dunphy. Scored a goal in this game already. He takes a shot, but it's saved by Ruppel. Ruppel now trying to reset. Sends it off there for Will Schaller. Schaller back to Ruppel, and now Maryland is back on offense. Trevor Owens moving it inside, and he gets stripped. Another great defensive possession there from Princeton. It's recovered by Jackson Green, a walk-on member who also plays for the Princeton football team.
That's Zach Friedman right there on the strip. Great job of him chasing down the play. Couple goal-saving plays made from this Princeton defense.
Maryland moving with a little bit too much tempo. Have not had many true offensive possessions here early in the second quarter. As Parker Reynolds takes it for Princeton. 7:05 to play, still a tie game. 48 seconds on the shot clock. Reynolds moving inside. He takes a shot, and he scores. He breaks a nearly 15-minute scoring drought as he scores the first goal here in this second quarter at the 6:58 mark. The first goal since the 6:48 mark in the first quarter.
Yeah, it was a really nice job right there. He was able to get that inside leverage on Eric Kolar. Was able to get behind his right shoulder and just too dead on of a shot from this Maryland defense. At some point, you knew someone was going to break, and it was Maryland's defense.
Parker Reynolds gives the Tigers their first lead. It's their third lead that they've had in the game after starting, or excuse me, their second. They started off 1-0. Maryland with a lead of its own, but then a tie game for the past nearly 15 minutes. It'll be another face-off and a win here for Jonah Carrier. Carrier struggled versus Syracuse last week, but has made an impact so far here today. Terps back on offense. It'll be Leo Johnson on the right side. Johnson waiting for some substitutions. It'll come in Zach Whittier and Spencer Ford. Ford now with the ball at the top. He sends it off for Jack Schultz. Jack Schultz now moving it inside. Schultz takes it behind the net, off for Urksa. Back to Schultz. Schultz guarded here by Owen Fisher. Now it's Schultz moving to the right side of the goal, trying to get it inside. Can't get a shot, sends it off for Urksa. Urksa sends it back inside for Whittier. Whittier couldn't get a clean shot. Now it's Whittier behind the net. Whittier switching the point of attack. Sends it right inside there for Spanos. He fumbles it, but Maryland keeps possession. A sloppy pass there will lose Maryland possession. Zach Whittier chased after it, but couldn't get there in time. Another mistake for Maryland on offense. Now it'll be Princeton. And a quick Princeton mistake as a pass is dispossessed there, and Maryland will get it right back. Now it's Schaller. Schaller bringing it across. Sends it across. Jack Schultz. Maryland settling down, waiting for some subs to come in. It'll be Elijah Stobaugh and Braden Urksa.
Now Maryland
will be back in as well.
Maryland has the time and space.
Stovall with a
score.
shot. He scores. Beautiful shot there from the junior Elijah Stovall. He's played in both games off the bench so far and had a hat trick for Syracuse last week and is back in the scoring column today. Already here today with 2 goals to his name.
Yeah, and as I was just about to say, Maryland's got the time and space to get an offensive possession going, but Stovall took matters into his own hands, and the offensive impact he has had for the Terps this season, especially in the midfield, has been huge. Against Syracuse last game, where a lot of Maryland attackers just really weren't able to get a lot going, he was the guy who was making it happen, and a big game-tying goal here for the Terps.
So we are back to a tie game, 5-5, with 5 minutes and 17 seconds here to play in the second quarter, as both teams will head to the sideline and talk it over. It's been quite a dynamic change between the goal scoring. We had 8 goals scored in just over the first 8 minutes played here in College Park. And then for almost 15 minutes, there were no goals scored. Mistakes on both sides, but also tough defense. Both these goalies, Ryan Croddick for Princeton and Brian Ruppel for the Terps, have been impressive so far here today. But right after that 15-minute absence of goals, these two teams have gotten quickly back onto the scoreboard. Jackson, in these final 5 minutes, what do you think these two teams have to do to try and take a lead in the locker room?
Well, I would say for Maryland, really try to play into your identity. I mean, you saw Elijah Stovall right there. He was able to get by his man, take matters into his own hands, rely on the guys who have been doing the job for you. That's Stovall. Leo Johnson has had a good game today. I've liked what I've seen from Chris Lyons. I would like to see more from Eric Spanos and Braden Urksa. I'm not going to say that they've been non-existent, but they really haven't made that kind of impact. It looks like Princeton is zoned in on them. And yeah, I mean, for Princeton, I would also say go to your stars. You want to talk about someone who's been relatively quiet today, Nate Kabiri. Haven't really seen a lot of him. I mean, he had 3 points. He had 2 goals and an assist against Penn State. Hasn't really seen much of the ball at all today, but defensively for Princeton, I've been really, really impressed. They're forcing Maryland to make some mistakes, forcing some errant passes, and then, look, we all know this. At the end of the day, Andrew, possession is king. It's about 50-50 so far with the faceoffs. Princeton 6 for 11. They've got the majority. I really would like to see Henry Dodge step up. Carrier's back out there. That's because he's 3 for 5. Dodge is 2 for 6 against McMeekin today. We'll see if a team can maybe get a 2-goal swing, get a lead into the half.
It's been an impressive start for McMeekin, who did have a couple of those penalties off draw, but has since then been impressive. And it'll be another penalty, but this time on Carrier. So Princeton will start with possession as we approach the 5-minute mark here in this second quarter. Nate Kabiri with it for Princeton. Like you just mentioned, Jackson, been pretty quiet here today so far. Now it's Paul Bonanno. Bonanno taking it to the right side. Substitution for Princeton comes in the form of Parker Reynolds, who scored the last goal for the Tigers. Now Bonanno taking inside, gets a screen from Reynolds. Reynolds back to Bonanno. Bonanno on the right side, taking it into the middle. Sends it off for Tucker Wade. Wade trying to find a shot. Can't get anything. Holds possession, now takes it behind the net. Colin Burns. Back out for Parker Reynolds. Reynolds trying to drive it inside. Maryland's defense swarming. Another shot here for Princeton, but it goes beyond the net. That was Chad Palumbo who missed that one.
Good quick shot from Palumbo. Just a little too much mustard on that one.
Princeton will keep possession, still 26 seconds on the shot clock as they try and move it inside. Now here's Parker Reynolds taking it to the left. Or excuse me, this is Nate Kabiri. Kabiri now back to Tucker Wade. Wade trying to find a shot. Maryland's defense once again swarming. Wade can't get anything to go. Pass it off inside. Another shot and a score there for Princeton. Paul Bonanno. Peter Bonanno with another goal for Princeton as they take a 6-5 lead with 4 minutes exactly left to play here in this second quarter.
You saw that just quick movement by Princeton. It was a really nice pass right there. Bonanno just had a little too much time to take that shot, and he's able to convert.
Princeton done a good job today of responding from mistakes And their offense has been more efficient, like you mentioned. Jackson winning the face-off battle with another one here to come. Once again, McMeekin, this time against Dodge, and once again, it'll be another win for McMeekin. And another quick goal for Princeton. A quick response after taking the lead right back. This time it's Colin Burns.
That was just textbook right there from the Princeton defense. An easy face-off win for McMeekin, and no one picked him up initially from that Maryland defense, but then when they did, Colin Burns was left wide open. He had a quick one-on-one with Brian Ruppel about maybe a foot in front of goal, and that's just too easy. You cannot let that happen if you're Maryland offensively. I know Jesse Bernhardt and John Tillman know that's unacceptable from their squad.
Maryland looked lackadaisical on that last one, caught completely off guard. It's another face-off between Dodge and McMeekin. This time will go to Dodge. Maryland looking for a response on the offensive end. Now down 7-5, 3:43 left to play here in the second quarter. Maryland trying to set things up. It'll be Elijah Stovall, already with 2 goals here in this game. Jack Schultz coming in for the Terps. He's got it at around midfield, right at that Maryland M. Schultz trying to move inside, gets a screen from Lyons. Schultz looked like he wanted to shoot it for a second, now sends it back for Lyons. Lyons trying to set up the Terps offense. Got Leo Johnson to his right, gets a screen from Johnson. Princeton's defense swarms. Lyons now off for Jack Schultz on the far right side. Schultz taking it around the goal, now on the left. Schultz off for Urksa behind the net. Urksa trying to take it inside, looked for a shot, couldn't get one. Now Urksa back to Stovall. Stovall trying to drive it inside, now switching it to the right side. Stovall moving inside, gets it to Spanos. Spanos moving it around, he shoots, and another excellent save there from Ryan Croddick. Like you said before, Jackson, this Maryland offense is getting shots, but they're not getting it in positions that make it tough for Croddick to make saves.
I think Spanos just needed a couple more steps right there. He probably would have had a better angle for that shot.
Princeton back on offense. Their first time leading by more than a goal. Up 7-5, 2:22 here left to play in the second quarter as they look to expand their lead to 3. Nate Kabiri on the left side. Kabiri taking it inside, off for Colin Burns. Burns looking inside. It was Cooper Mueller making a move inside, but nothing going for the Tigers there. Now it's Quinn Kramer. Kramer trips for a second, gets back up.
It's good
Kramer
defense.
sends it off to the right side. Princeton trying to set something up in front of the goal as they take it way out to the right side. Now moving in. Going and switching the point of attack is Dunphy. Quick loss of possession there by the Tigers, but they're able to quickly get it back. Just 3 seconds left on the shot clock. They need to get a shot off, and they will not. Beautiful defense there by Maryland, not letting them get anything in front, and a mistake costs them another possession and a chance to expand their lead.
Love a goal here if you're Maryland. You got just under 90 seconds left to go here. You can probably hold it until about 15 seconds or so. About more like 5 seconds, sorry. You could probably hold this till the end of the half. Make this a 1-goal game if you want.
Maryland putting in their veteran leaders. You got Spanos, you got Whittier, you've got Ford, all seniors or graduate students. Leo Johnson out there as well. Leo Johnson with it in the far right corner. Graduate student from Greenwich, Connecticut. Trying to set Maryland's offense up, run down this shot and game clock a little bit. They can actually hold it until about just a little under 5 seconds. Trying not to let Princeton get enough time for another possession before halftime. Leo Johnson now moving inside. Switches the point of attack, now heads back to the right. Trying to fool the Princeton defense. Looking for a shot. Doesn't get one. Now moving it back, sends it off inside, and a beautiful shot and pass there from Leo Johnson to Braden Urksa. Gets Maryland exactly what they need, another goal. 7-6 Princeton, 9 seconds left right before halftime. Maryland gets the desperate response they needed.
Yeah, well, first of all, that was fantastic defense from Finn Fox. You saw Leo Johnson try a plethora of dodges on the sophomore defenseman. He just wouldn't give in, but just phenomenal vision and awareness from Leo Johnson. That's why John Tillman brought him in, and he had Urksa, and it looks like Princeton's going to take a timeout here, see what they want to do in his last 9 seconds. And if you win a faceoff, you can probably get one shot off here.
We've already seen Princeton score quickly off the faceoff. That was their last goal, coming courtesy of Colin Burns, making a bit of a homecoming for him today. Junior from Potomac, Maryland.
It's a few homecomings here for the Tigers, a few Maryland guys, but noticing here during the timeout, normally in lacrosse timeouts, you see the offensive coordinator in the offensive huddle, you see the defense in the huddle with the defensive coordinator and the goalies. Usually the face-off guys have their own little mini huddle. For both teams right now, it is a full team huddle. All the coaches trying to get a team-wide message across. I think that's really important, Andrew, when you have these kind of last second possessions. You got 9.3 seconds left. You know you're really only going to get one shot at this. You need everybody on the same page for any situation that might happen.
Well said, Jackson. It'll be an interesting face-off. Maryland switching between Henry Dodge and Jonah Carrier so far here today. Neither's been able to have a consistent impact like Andrew McMeekin has been able to have for Princeton. He has a couple of face-off violations to his name, but has the majority of face-offs won so far today, and it's given Princeton an upper hand on starting offense quickly. For Maryland, it'll once again be Carrier against McMeekin. And as we've said, we've seen both these teams be able to start some quick possessions. Just 9 seconds left on the clock. Shot clock not a factor. Both teams will try and get a quick face-off win.
This is going to be a big face-off here.
They're back at it, and it'll be Carrier for the Terps. Getting it quickly inside. Terps running the offense, trying to get a shot off. It's Leo Johnson trying to get it inside, and it's blocked by Croddick. And Princeton will take a 7-6 lead into the locker room. Impressive start there from Maryland, or I should say finish. Last possession, Leo Johnson tried to get it inside. Just didn't really have enough time to set up a proper shot, but got a shot off nonetheless. But Croddick was able to keep Princeton ahead as the time winds down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the right idea for Maryland. I mean, a great face-off win by Carrier. That was a great pass from Alexander. Really trying to get Maryland a quick possession. Johnson just, I think he went a little too inside. Didn't really have the right angle, but I think there's a lot for both head coaches to talk to their teams about at halftime. Still anybody's game.
Absolutely, Jackson. Well said. We will be back here for the second half on WMEC Sports in about 10 minutes. Stay with us. We got a good one on our hands here in College Park.
1 minute left under scrimmage, 1 minute remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Scrimmage, and a big round of applause for the Clippers 2032 Red Team.
15 minutes down, 15 left to go here in a tightly contested match at Siku Stadium in College Park. Happy to welcome you back into the broadcast here on WMUC Sports. Jackson Wantman alongside my partner Andrew Breza as Maryland starts the second half down just one goal, 7-6. They had a late goal with about 10 seconds left in the second quarter to close the deficit to 1 after a tightly contested first quarter that ended 4-4. Princeton with a 3-1 win in the second quarter. And Andrew, both teams looking to get more consistent offense per se. We had a large scoring drought early in that first half.
Yeah, Jackson, I think it's a very similar story for both sides. Both sides are making mistakes of their own, but at the same time, they're doing a good job of not letting the other team capitalize on those mistakes. So far, we've seen Princeton kind of dominate the face-off battle, even with some of their penalties on that. They've been able to generate some quick offense by some of these quick starts. If I'm John Tillman, I want either Jonah Carrier or Henry Dodge to try and get that quick start going a little bit more, right from the jump, honestly, because that's how some of these former Maryland teams have had their success. They've been great on face-offs.
Yeah, it was a struggle for Henry Dodge in the first half. He was 3 for 8 from the stripe. Jonah Carrier was 4 of 7, and he's back out there to take the opening faceoff. Andrew McMeekin, 7 for 12 on the day so far. As we get set, Maryland now going right to left. Princeton's going to go left to right. Referee gets the faceoff men set. Blows the whistle, and we're off. It's a good win for Carrier. He's able to get the ground ball in front of him, but he's going to lose the ball inside. There's a ground ball to be picked up by Princeton. And Ryan Croddick. It's a win for Carrier just after picking up the ground ball. Could not corral it to one of his teammates, and Princeton is going to get the second half action going. Here's Nate Kabiri. Didn't hear a whole lot from him in that first half. Here's Tucker Wade now with it up top. At first midfield line for the Tigers, John Dunphy also on. He's got a goal today. He switches to his right hand. He's got A.J. Larkin on him. Top now Princeton trying to reset. Dunphy, whistle is blown. And a violation, looked like someone might have been in the crease there. And it's Maryland ball. Here's Peter Lake. Ryan Rupel over to Michael Alexander now.
Once again, Jackson on the mistakes. Both sides continue to do the same thing they did in the first half. Curious to see how they try and correct it here in the second.
Here's George Stamos with it. Maryland is going to take off their long stick midfielders and short stick defensive midfielders and send on that first offensive midfield line. Here's Jack Schultz. Coming on is Elijah Stobaugh and Chris Lyons. Here's Leo Johnson with it. He's behind X now, standing behind patiently. You got Croddick facing him along with Finn Fox, who's had the difficult assignment of number 33. He's got him on his left hand right now. Urksa, Chris Lyons. 13.5 minutes left to go. The shot goes behind net by Chris Lyons, staying with Maryland. Stobaugh's at X. 26 seconds left for Maryland to get a shot off here. Stobaugh, back around X, trying to wrap around the crease with his right hand. Turns back, now he's at GLE. It's Schultz now at X. Seen more than one player there today for Maryland. Schultz tries to come around on his left, cuts back to his right. Under 10 seconds left now. Maryland's going to need to get a shot off or just dump it in the corner. Lyons trying to get downhill. Great defense from Princeton. Lyons, a last-second shot's going to go behind the end zone, and a shot clock violation.
Two quick starts on offense for these two teams, but once again, we're seeing more of what we saw in that first half. Tight defense in the middle, not allowing either of these teams to try and get a shot there. It'll be interesting to see how they change some of their ball movement to try and get more shots right outside the crease.
Approaching 12.5 minutes left to play here early in the second half. No goals yet. Here's Tucker Wade with it. John Dunphy playing a little back and forth with Peter Bonono, who's had a great day today so far. He's got 2 goals. He's got now up at about the 30-yard line. Trying some more downfield attacking. Here's Colin Burns, a spin-around shot, saved by Brian Rupel. Here's Peter Lake. He's on the right with it. He's cross midfield, trying to find someone to get it to. He does. Leo Johnson. Coming up field all the way is Trevor Owens. Shots deflected. The LSM with the shot. Here's Braden Urksa. Matt Higgins now checking in for the first time in the second half. Also coming on is Zach Whittier. Whittier up with it near midfield. Trying to run downfield with his right. It's Quinn Kramer on him. All the way near GLE. He's going to get a screen from Urksa. He's at X now. Whittier trying to wrap around right. Pulls back up top. Here's Leo Johnson. Leo Johnson with not in a natural attacking position. Here's Eric Spanos. Back to Johnson. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Here's Whittier. Whittier tries to get down on his left. The pass is intercepted by Ryan Croddick. He's trying to get it to Urksa. That'll be a no-go. Here's Jackson Green. Green to Tucker Wade. Quinn Kramer also on offense for Princeton. Chad Palumbo checking in from the box as well. Here's Nate Kabiri with it. Guarded by Schaller. Tries to get inside. Does he have an angle? Not going to take the shot. Here's Palumbo on the right post GLE. Making his way near the back of the end zone. 10.5 minutes left to play here. Here's Nate Kabiri with it. Open shot, Bonono tries to spin around. Kabiri on his left. Back around GLE. Does he have an angle? Tries it back out. It's an almost wild pass. 30 seconds left on the shot clock for Princeton. Maryland holding tight. Carson Kramer trying to work. Here's Palumbo now. Trying to get inside. Stamos is on him. He's now double covered with Schaller. Palumbo tries to flip it out to Kabiri. Kramer, the shot inside, scores! Princeton is on the board. 10 minutes left to go in the third, and their lead is back up to 2. It's 8-6.
This Princeton offense is so much fun to watch, Jackson. They just move the ball so methodically, and even when they don't get their first look, their second look, their third look, they're able to spin back and create a new opportunity. You saw it right there. Beautiful pass from Kabiri, and an even better shot gives Princeton a 2-goal lead back. Maryland on defense is going to have to try and make some adjustments because they've been good, but not quite good enough.
Yeah, it's Jake Vanna on the goal, his first of the season. Henry Dodge at the X for the target. He's going to get the clamp on it. Can he get the ground ball? That's the question. There's a fight for it. It's picked up. Ball's back on the ground again. Trey Fleece thought he had it. Princeton stays with it. Quick move from Princeton. Here's Colin Burns. Pass is just a little bit too high. That allows Maryland to get people onto the field. Chad Palumbo. He's at X now. Burns, Kabiri. Up top, Tucker Wade. He's going to pass it to Peter Bonono. Coming in for the first time. Bonono tries to get down on his right. Spins back to his left. Up top, here's Wade. Gets a screen. Fires just behind the end zone. Just a little bit too far left. Princeton staying possession. Here's John Dunphy. Working very well on Trey Fleece. Had an angle. Here's Bonono. Spins to his right. Gets it to Chad Palumbo. Just under 9 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Palumbo switches to his right. Spins back to his left. He has a short stick midfielder on him. Kabiri now behind X. A quick pass. No good. Just a little bit too far. Corralled by Princeton, though. Good job by Tucker Wade. Fires again. Behind the end zone. 12 seconds left now on the shot clock. The Tigers starting to put a lot of pressure on this Maryland defense. Here's Dunphy with it. 9 seconds left. 8 seconds left. Does Princeton have a shot, or will they dump? The quick pass! And it's a goal for Princeton. The quick pass to Chad Palumbo from John Dunphy. Excellent, excellent vision from the senior midfielder. And just like that, it's back to a 3-goal lead now. It's the largest of the game for any team.
Jackson, this Maryland defense just kind of looks lost in trying to stop Princeton. Like you just said, 9 seconds left, and they're able to quickly get it inside after the passed ball. It feels like nobody's really watching those like backdoor passes that we see all the time in basketball. We've seen a couple of them today here on both sides. That was Maryland's last goal, and now Princeton taking advantage of that. Just a beautiful pass and an even better position and shot. Like you just said, biggest lead of the game. Maryland's going to need to figure it out to try and get back in this one.
Palumbo is a All-American last season, his second goal of the day, 3 points for him. Dunphy, that's his first assist of the day, his second on the year. Maryland will get the faceoff off the violation, 8.5 minutes left to play. It's 9-6 Princeton. Similar story maybe developing here. We think back to the Syracuse game where they just had a couple goal lead and Maryland wasn't able to get back into the game. Syracuse never let them back in. Same thing happening here. Here's Elijah Stovall, Chris Lyons, Spanos. Trying to get downfield on his left. Schultz. Back over to Spanos. And cuts to his left. Back over to Schultz at GLE. 8 minutes left to play here. Schultz fires the shot's deflected. Look off a Princeton defender or Chris Lyons. Whichever one, it's staying with Maryland. Here's Urksa. It's a screen, he's at GLE. He's gonna flip it out to Spanos up top. Spanos on his left hand. Quickly double covered by two Princeton long poles. Here's Lyons, Leo Johnson. Johnson spins around, has an angle, passes intercepted, ball's on the ground. Schultz is able to pick it back up. Schultz fires just too high. 18 seconds left on the shot clock for the Terps. Halfway through the quarter here now. Maryland looking for some life on offense. They haven't scored yet this quarter. Johnson, 10 seconds left. He pumps around goal and he scores. Boy, did the Terps need that one. Leo Johnson with his second of the day. It's 9-7 now.
When in doubt, go to your leading goal scorer. The transfer from Yale with his second goal of the day, leading the Terps so far in this 2026 campaign. And what a beautiful move it was. And finally, we kind of talked about a little bit in the first half, Jackson. Some of these Maryland shots are getting good opportunities, but they're not quite putting it in a position that makes it tough on Croddick. That was a tough shot, buried it in the top right corner.
Beautifully placed shot from the graduate student. It's Jonah Carrier back out on the X for the Terps. Whistle's blown. It's Russ Fitzgerald who's in for McMeekin's able to send it out to the offensive side, but the ground ball's picked up by the Terps. It was Will Schaller, Rupel. And now the Terps are going to start their clear. Do they have a little bit of momentum brewing? George Stamos with it. Chris Lyons. And now as Higgins will come on. Also Spanos and Stovall. Higgins has got it at the corner of the end zone. He's going to come around. He shoots just a little bit wide to the right. Staying with Maryland, though. Plenty of time. 44 seconds left on the shot clock. Here's Urksa with it. Urksa's now at X. He stops. Surveys the offense, trying to find someone. He's now going to come around right. Urksa spins back to his left. Backtracking just a little bit. Here's Leo Johnson now. Finn Fox still on him. Johnson on his left. Back to his right. Back to his left. Passes it off to Urksa. Here's Higgins. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Princeton's defense staying stout, so they have just a few more seconds left. And then Higgins! What a goal! Matt Higgins with just a little bit of breathing room spins around with his right and shoots it into the bottom right corner. And just like that, a 2-goal swing from Maryland. It's 9-8. How about it from the true freshman who's netted his first career goal? What a way to announce himself to this Maryland faithful.
John Tillman, respected among the lacrosse community across the country. That goes especially for Matt Higgins. Like you said, coveted freshman coming over from California to come play for these Terps. And what a beautiful goal that was. Once again, speaking to trying to put it in tough positions for Croddick. He had a man in front, got it down low, bounced it. A beautiful goal. And we are back to a 1-goal game. This is the exact kind of momentum shift Maryland needed.
If you're attacking, that angle is just so hard to hit perfectly. Only elite attackman can do it, but it's an easy face-off win for Princeton. Off the draw, McMeekin back on. He's still on the field looking for someone. He's got Kabiri. Kabiri with it now. Gets it over to Bonono. Bonono now making his way all the way down to GLE. He's got AJ Larkin with him now at X. Right, spins back to his left. Might have a step on Larkin. He recovers quickly. Parker Reynolds. Bonono. Bonono wraps around X, tries, cuts back to his left. Here's Tucker Wade with it. He's going to flip it back out to his safety net. Just about 5 minutes left to go here. It's Parker Reynolds, Kabiri. 5 minutes left to play here. Under 20 seconds left on the shot clock. It's Peter Lake on Kabiri at X. Here he comes around. He's got the short stick matchup with Kolar. Bonono didn't really have a man on him, but he lost the pass, so he has to recover. A quick shot from Reynolds. He scores! Parker Reynolds, his first goal of the season and in his career for the true freshman. A great pass from Bonono, and it's back to 10-8. A beautiful goal right there for Princeton. A great response from Matt Madonalon's squad. And we're going to go to a timeout here. 10-8 Princeton, 4 minutes, 53 seconds left to go. You're listening to Maryland Lacrosse on WMUC Sports. We'll be back with you in a moment. As both teams break the huddle out of the timeout, we once again join you here on WMUC Sports as Maryland Lacrosse trails Princeton 10-8 off the goal from Parker Reynolds. Jackson Wantman, Andrew Breza, and Andrew, just a great response right there from Princeton off a 2-goal Maryland swing.
Absolutely. We know how good this Princeton team is. They're ranked number 12 in the country for a reason, but you know who's on the other side. It's one of the best programs in the country for the past decade in the Maryland Terrapins. You saw Princeton take a 3-goal lead. Maryland quickly made that a 1-goal lead. They had all the momentum. You can't let such a great program get all the momentum in the world. World-class response right there from Princeton to take a 2-goal lead back.
As Henry Dodge, an easy face-off win. He charges downfield. Does he have a shot? He's going to pass it to Spanos. And how about that? Eric Spanos, an immediate response. His 5th goal of the season. He hits his 2nd goal of the day. 1 assist from Henry Dodge. His first goal contribution as a Terrapin. Said it before after that happened earlier in the first half. Just a textbook crossplay off the face-off. You ask nothing more out of your Fogo. Easy win, easy clamp, get it forward, downfield, and just like that, it's back to 10-9. The 6th goal of the season for Spanos. Henry Dodge, another easy face-off win. This pass is going to be a little less easy, but he gets it to Leo Johnson. Maryland now here, Spanos with it again. Coming on is Aiden Aiken along with Zach Whittier. Urksa gets it to Whittier. Whittier tosses it off to Aiken. Whittier with it now on the right side. He gets it down to Johnson at X. Urksa, GLE, Aiken. Back to Whittier. Down low to Leo Johnson. Leo Johnson, Whittier with it on his left. Back to Leo Johnson. Two playing catch. Here's Spanos now. 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Just under 4 minutes left to play. In the third quarter, Spanos takes a firing shot. It's going to go too high. Staying with Maryland. Aiden Aikens got it. Aiken with it now. Behind X. Johnson back to Aiken. Leo Johnson more up top now in a midfield position. Tries to get it down low to Spencer Ford. Ford's going to flip it off. Under 10 seconds left now on the shot clock. Here's Spanos. Does he have another shot? Fires a pass. It's just a little too low for Aiden Aiken. Might have had a look there if he got it, but it's going to be out of bounds. Princeton possession. 3.5 minutes left to go. Ryan Kroddick initiates a Princeton clear.
Still a very impressive possession there from the Terps. Obviously wanted to try and see a goal there to tie this one up, but the ball movement is there, and they're still riding with some momentum. It's all going to come down to if they can get it done on defense. They've done it a couple times here today, Jackson, but they have not been able to do it consistently. Trailing by 1, they're going to need a big defensive possession here.
Princeton now, as we hit the 3-minute mark, Tucker Wade is going to pass it off to Parker Reynolds. Reynolds working on Thomas Gravino, the short stick midfielder. Princeton trying to get the ball downfield, but Maryland sliding quickly. That was Tucker Wade. Here's Bonono. All the way down in the corner. Kabiri tries to set a screen. Flying around X. Goes Brody Upton, and that ball is going to go out of bounds. 18 seconds left on the shot clock here. Bonono. Way in the corner. Under 2.5 minutes left to play. He's got it. Coming around X on the right side. Does he have a step on Larkin? 10 seconds left. Up top, here's Reynolds. Reynolds to Kabiri. They don't have a lot of time here. He's going to have to take a last-minute shot. He fires, and the bounce save from Brian Ruppel. Maryland flying up the field now on the counterattack. Peter Lake. Johnson. The pass just too high for Larkin. Spanos is able to pick up the ground ball, though. Maryland resetting. Here comes Jack Schultz and Chris Lyons. Stovall waiting to come on. Here's Schultz. Spins back on his left hand. He fires just a little bit too high. Referee momentarily stops play to get the ball back where it's supposed to be. Restarts. Here's Leo Johnson. Here's Chris Lyons. Stovall with it now up at the 40-yard line. On his right hand, he comes center field, trying to get downfield. Here's Lyons. Spins, shoots. He's stripped. Schultz couldn't get the shot off. Maryland retains. Under 30 seconds left on the shot clock now. Here's Schultz with it back up top. Stovall. Stovall on his left. Same hand dodge. Lyons spins around. He was working on Cooper Kistler. Here's Spanos. Stovall, 10 seconds left on the shot clock, under a minute left in the quarter. Stovall spins to his left. Stovall thinks about the shot. Here's Urksa. Maryland doesn't have a lot of time. 2 seconds left. I don't know if he knew that. Chris Lyons didn't seem to be super aware of how much time he had left. He was just a little bit too patient behind X. It's going to be a shot clock violation. 45.5 seconds left, and Princeton can hold this till the end of the quarter. We'll see if they do.
Definitely a waste of possession there for the Terps, Jackson. Definitely, I agree with you. It didn't look like he understood how much time was left. Maryland was setting something up, but they just ran out of time. And those are the kind of mistakes you can't make against this really good Princeton team.
Here's Jake Vanna now, a goal scorer today on his right. He's running with James Gardiner. Behind X now, Vanna. Vanna trying to come around, tries to sneak it by Ruppel. Just a little bit too far to the right, and a wide open look for Colin Burns. It bounced off each post and in. And with 2 seconds left, Colin Burns was left untouched. and a bad break for Maryland, as they look like they're going to go into the fourth quarter down 11-9 as opposed to 10-9. Colin Burns with the second goal of the day.
Impressive possession there by the Tigers. A missed shot, but they were right in position to regain it, and Maryland just really didn't see it coming. Quickly repossessed there by Chad Palumbo, and Maryland trying to, it almost felt like they were panicking a little bit, trying to stop the shot from Palumbo behind the crease. They left Burns wide open in the middle. Definitely a bit of a lucky bounce there for Burns. Like you said, off both goalposts, but beautiful positioning and a great shot to give the Tigers another 2-goal lead.
And it's going to be a face-off win for Carrier, but not going to be able to do much with it. It's been a tight game all afternoon long, and after 3 quarters of play, Princeton is going to go into the final 15 minutes up 11-9 on Maryland. We'll see if the Tigers can hold on to this one or if Maryland can orchestrate a comeback at home. We will take a break with you and be right back for the fourth quarter here on WMEC Sports.
Illinois, Penn State. New this year, every fan who purchases season tickets by March 31st will receive an exclusive gift package featuring a premium apparel item, game day buttons, a personalized locker flavor, and will be guaranteed 3 game day giveaways. Purchase your tickets today by visiting tourgroups.com/Kirksville26.
Back here at CQ Stadium in College Park, a top 12 matchup reaches its final 15 minutes as number 12 Princeton leads number 2 Maryland 11-9 heading into the fourth quarter. It's been a good game from both ends, on both ends, and it reaches a boiling point here as Princeton tries to get its first win of the season, which would be an impressive ranked victory, while Maryland seeks to avoid going 1-2 for the first time in years. Face-off is underway, and it is a battle between Andrew McMeekin and Jonah Carrier, but Maryland ends up with it. They will start on offense as they head from left to right, Princeton right to left. Ball is in possession of Brian Rupel, way back in Maryland's defensive end. He will try to get things started for the Terps. Sends it off for Will Schaller on the left side. Now off.
Now Maryland, a good start to the quarter, getting possession. If you can get an early goal here, really start getting aggressive with it. Put some pressure on this Princeton defense.
It'll be Elijah Stovall taking it in for the Terps, trying to find a response and get back on the scoreboard. Stovall sends it down low for Urksa behind the net. Urksa moving inside, trying to find a shot, guarded tightly there. Now sends it off for Eric Spanos. Spanos resets. Sends it off for Chris Lyons on the left side. Now Lyons trying to move inside, getting bodied by 2 Princeton defenders, but is able to hold on, although his pass will be a little too far above and will go out of bounds. But before then, a timeout was called by John Tillman. Both sides will head to the bench and talk things over. Just a little over a minute into this final quarter. 13:55 to play with Princeton in front by 2. Maryland will come back out with 24 seconds on the shot clock. And Jackson, what do you think Maryland has to do to try to usurp this Princeton lead?
I think just keep this Princeton defense on their feet. They've been kind of not allowing Maryland to really get things going offensively in that fast-paced offense that we've seen Maryland kind of try before. Princeton's been able to settle in and sort of take the game to Maryland and force them to be uncomfortable. I think if you're Maryland, you got to turn the tide here. Quick passes, passing cuts, screens, make Princeton start to get a little bit flustered. We've seen the Tigers do that to Maryland a couple times today where there's just so much movement. There's so many guys moving around in the quick passes that Maryland's defense hasn't been able to recover. I think if you're Maryland, get these Princeton guys thinking, get their minds spinning, get them physically kind of off their rhythm because they seem to be well on the same page right now. You have the offensive firepower to get enough guys open where you trust any of them with a shot. And look, this game is not out of hand. This is a 2-goal game with plenty of time left to go right here. But one thing you don't want to do is to leave it with too much time left.
Definitely feels like it's going to be a battle of attrition in this final 13 minutes and 55 seconds. For the Terps, it's Elijah Stovall, Eric Spanos, Braden Urksa, Matt Higgins, and Chris Lyons. Stovall will start it. He'll send it down low for Urksa behind the net. Urksa moving to the right, back to Stovall. Stovall looked like he was going to shoot it, now off for Spanos. Spanos trying to put the moves on. Quickly guarded there by some Princeton defenders. Now it'll be Chris Lyons, back to Stovall on the opposite side. Urksa behind the net. Looked for Matt Higgins for a second, but he was guarded tightly. Now it's Stovall once again. And Maryland turns it over. A penalty, it looks like, called there on the Terps. Not the way that you want to start the comeback bid. Or excuse me, it was a shot clock violation actually, as Princeton will take back over. For the Tigers, it's Cooper Mueller. Set things up for the Tigers. Now it's back to Peter Bonanno. Has 2 goals in this game. Sends it off for Parker Reynolds, who also is a goal scorer so far here in College Park, as we are now at 13 minutes to play, and Princeton has plenty of time on the shot clock. Now off for Tucker Wade. Wade driving inside, guarded tightly there by Kohler. Wade still with possession. Looking for Colin Burns inside, he's guarded tightly. Now off for Parker Reynolds. Reynolds down low. Princeton with the ball behind the net, now moving back in front, trying to get a shot off. Sends it back off for Reynolds at the top. Reynolds on to the opposite side for Tucker Wade. Wade guarded tightly by Michael Alexander. Ball back inside. Parker Reynolds fakes a shot. Allows that Maryland defense to get back, and he shoots it once more, but it's down low and to the left. Now it's crunch time for Princeton. 9 seconds left on the shot clock, but we've already seen them be able to do it today with a short amount of time remaining. Try and get it inside. It's Tucker Wade getting it there, and he shoots and scores. Another quick goal there by Princeton to regain a 3-goal lead. Takes it from out of bounds, drives it right past Maryland's defense, and gets it down low into the bottom right corner past Brian Ruppel.
Just a diving shot from Tucker Wade right there. Great job by him, but Eric Kohler just did not slide in time. He's too late to it. Gave him just enough of a window, and Wade is 3rd of the season. His first today, and it's not at all what you want of your Maryland. 12 minutes left. You're down by 3 goals, and right now, the game's still in a manageable position, but you're going to need to start picking up ground soon.
The momentum that the Terps had late in the 3rd quarter has all of a sudden evaporated, as it was a face-off win for Henry Dodge. Fumbled around. Maryland will keep possession. It's time. Trevor Owens trying to set things up for the Terps. The substitutions come on. Penalty flag flies. Now it's Zach Whittier. Whittier takes on the right side as another penalty flag flies. We'll have to see what that call will be. Now it's Leo Johnson. Johnson moving to the right side. Johnson still in possession. Now off for Whittier behind the net. Now a shot. Fakes a shot. Now off for Stovall. Off to Spanos. Spanos fumbles it. Now getting whacked by a Princeton deep hole, but Spanos keeps possession. Spanos trying to set something up. 40 seconds left on the shot clock. Off for Stovall on the right side. Stovall drops the ball, and Princeton will take possession. But there was a penalty flag that flew earlier in the possession, so Maryland will keep it.
This is a perfect situation for Maryland to get back into this game. You have the opportunity for a man up. You don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get. Just a second penalty of the game. It would be big for Maryland to pick up a man-up goal here, make this just a 2-score game.
Like you said, Jackson, only 2 penalties in this one, both coming against Princeton. Last time Maryland was a man-up, they were able to convert. Now, with just 11:18 remaining, down 12-9, they desperately need a goal here. Plenty of time still remaining, but time is winding down. Leo Johnson gets things started for the Terps. Sends it off for Urksa, now back to Johnson. Johnson sends it off for Stovall at the top of the key. Now Spanos to Urksa, back to Spanos, flipping it back to Stovall. Leo Johnson for Urksa behind the net, and it's deflected by Croddick, but Maryland will keep possession. 43 seconds left on the shot clock. Leo Johnson now with it. Leo Johnson back for Urksa. Urksa bringing it around the right side. Back for Johnson. Johnson flips the point of attack. Maryland shoots, but it is deflected by Croddick. Another excellent save by the Princeton goaltender. The ball is still on the ground, though, and Maryland gains possession right back.
Those 2 risky plays right there from Croddick coming out of net, but a great save.
Now it's Spanos behind the net. A man-up advantage paying dividends so far for the Terps. Man back on for Princeton. Stovall taking it along the left side, sends it off for Urksa. Urksa holding it behind the net, waiting for one of his guys to cut in front. Princeton defense has been stout today, and they are remaining so. Now quick pass to Whittier. Whittier tried to get a shot up, but couldn't. Now it's back for Urksa. Urksa gets it stripped, but he gets the ball right back, sends it off for Stovall. Stovall shoots, and it's deflected by a Princeton defender. Now Princeton collects, but it's taken right back by Maryland, Eric Spanos. But a foul is called on Spanos, which the crowd is not happy about whatsoever.
Boy, this Princeton defense has been locked down so far in the second half. They are putting their bodies on the line, and I didn't personally see a foul there. I have to agree with Maryland fans, but nice job by Princeton. Backs against the wall, bend but don't break.
Croddick takes it across the other side and heads back towards his net. Now Princeton with the ball in Maryland's end. It'll be Parker Reynolds behind the net to the left side. Reynolds now switching the point of attack, going to the right, and then right back to the left. Guarded there by George Stamos. Reynolds trying to drive it inside, sends it off. Now it's Peter Bonanno. Bonanno with 2 goals in this game so far. Sends it off for Nate Kabiri on the left side. Kabiri, not a name we've heard a lot today, but one of the best attackmen in the country. Getting hit there constantly by Will Schaller. Sends it back off for Peter Bonanno. Bonanno now taking it around the net. Goes right back to his right side. Bonanno trying to get a shot off. Sends it off for Parker Reynolds. Guarded tightly by Maryland's defense. Shot clock winding down. 6 seconds. Princeton trying to reset, get a shot off. They get it inside, but it's stripped away. Princeton regained possession for a second, but the shot clock goes off, and Maryland will take back over. A big stop for the Terps to prevent the Princeton lead from growing.
Defense showing up there from Maryland. Got to start turning defense into offense now.
And a couple times today where Princeton was able to leverage some short shot clock situations and turn them into goals. That time Maryland holds. Brian Ruppel out of his own net. Sends it across for Stovall. Elijah Stovall taking it along the right side, now deep into Princeton's end. He gets shoved over, but is able to gain his footing back. Stovall still with the ball. Tries to send it across. Ball's up in the air, and Princeton regains possession. Maryland pass there from Stovall, and Princeton takes advantage of it.
Yeah, Maryland just not putting the ball in the right place. They keep trying these kind of cross-field passes that are just into far too contested spaces. Princeton's defensemen, even sometimes accidentally just getting a stick on. If you're Maryland, you have to be smarter with the ball. Now, with halfway through the quarter, you're still down 3 goals.
7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the game. Princeton up 12-9. And They also have a full shot clock, basically, on their offensive end. Trying to grow their lead to 4 goals. It would be the biggest lead to take place today. Princeton behind the net. Setting it off for Carson Kramer. Kramer sends it back down low for Tucker Spiess. Spiess trying to make something happen. Guarded there by Kohler. And it's stripped away by the Terps, but Princeton quickly regains possession. Maryland's defense now out of position. Driving inside. Princeton, they shoot, they score. Princeton has a 4-goal lead with 6 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the game. And it was Chad Palumbo, one of the veteran leaders of this team, the senior from Newton, Massachusetts. This game is slowly starting to fall even further out of Maryland's favor.
Yeah, it was the other Massachusetts guy, Jake Vanna, his second of the day. And I mean, you said it, Andrew, they caught this Maryland defense out of position, and just multiple times today where these Princeton players have just had a one-on-one shot with Brian Ruppel right in front of goal, and that just can't happen if you're the Terps. Very unlike them, and this one feels like it might be starting to slip away for the Terps here. Time is winding down.
Jake Vanna credited with the goal. Princeton now up 13-9, 6:48 remaining. Another face-off win by Andrew McMeekin. Princeton will be on offense once more. This Maryland defense has made it tough all day long, but a couple of these lapses Princeton has been able to take advantage of, while Maryland's offense has not been able to do so consistently against Princeton. 6 minutes and 25 seconds remain. 55 seconds on the shot clock as Princeton sets up their offense. Parker Reynolds coming into the game for the Tigers. To the left side of the net was Tucker Wade. Sends it off for Parker Reynolds at the top. Off to Bonanno on the right side. Now back to Parker Reynolds, who's taking it to the left. Guarded tightly by Kolar. Reynolds now in the far corner behind the net. Trying to move it inside. Sends it back off for Nate Kabiri. Kabiri to Bonanno. Bonanno now trying to drive inside. He shoots, and it's stopped. Saved there by Ruppel. Maryland with time winding down. Just 5 minutes and 42 seconds remaining. They're moving with tempo. Quickly brought up, and it's a shot by Spanos, and he scores! Maryland gets back on the board and gets to double digits. Weren't able to against Syracuse last week. Now back into the double-digit figures. Momentum starting to grow a little bit for this Terps team. Only 5 minutes and 35 seconds remaining, still down by 3.
Yeah, it's exactly what you needed, just a quick goal right there. And A.J. Larkin, his first assist of the season, thought about shooting it, but he dumps it off to Spanos, who's got the hat trick today. And hey, I mean, if you're able to get one more quick one right here, this game, I know we've been talking about the time winding down a little bit. It's also far from over. This Maryland team has the ability to score in bunches, and they can very, very easily get back into this game. First of all, it's going to fall on the face-off X. Jonah Kerr, Henry Dodge have done a much, much better job this second half against Andrew McMeekin, getting possession, and the defense is just going to have to hold their ground for a full 80 seconds. They've shown that they can do it for 60 seconds, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little bit more, but seen Princeton get a couple of those shots with under 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Terps want to finish this one off. They're going to need to finish possessions defensively.
Jackson, the most success we've seen out of this Terp offense today has been when they've moved with tempo. We've seen a couple of quick goals come as a result of transition offense or right off the face-off. Can't allow Princeton's defense to get too set, because for the majority of time here today, Princeton's defense has remained stout. Meanwhile, on the other side, Princeton's offense has been methodical and has gotten Maryland's defense out of position a couple times. Just 5 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. Maryland's not out of this one, but it will be an uphill battle. The defense will have to come up big, but like you mentioned, the face-off men are going to have to do probably their best work of the season, despite it being just the third game of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they've won 9 face-offs so far this half, as opposed to Princeton's 2. I mean, I said it earlier in the broadcast, possession is king, and Jonah Carrier's going to go back out. He's 8 for 12, Dodge 8 for 14 after a rough start. He's won 5 of his last 6 faceoffs after starting 3 of 8 from the stripe. Maryland going to need to get possession and also finish possession.
McMeekin, an impressive player for this Princeton program, was 2nd All-Ivy League last year. He's also the first player in program history with 2 seasons of at least 100 ground balls collected. Senior out of Newton Square, Pennsylvania, has been a big reason for Princeton's success in recent seasons. He goes early once again, another violation on McMeekin, and Maryland will start once again with possession. 5 minutes and 28 seconds. Maryland making some substitutions. Elijah Stovall coming on. Getting back there was Jackson Green. Now it'll be Spencer Ford as Chris Lyons comes into the game for the Terps. Spencer Ford off for Leo Johnson on the right side. Johnson driving inside. He shoots, and it's saved by Croddick. Once again, as we've mentioned in the broadcast, Maryland getting a lot of shots off, but some of these shots have been just a little bit too easy for Croddick. An excellent goaltender who is making some easy shots pay for the Terps. Princeton back on offense. Nate Kabiri takes it across for the Tigers. Guarded there by Peter Lake. Kabiri switching the point of attack. Now sends it back off to the right for Peter Bonanno. Bonanno taking his time, and he's got plenty of it. 40 seconds left on the shot clock as he waits for Princeton to make some substitutions and set up their offense. And now he's going, guarded by Lake. Excuse me, that's George Stamos. Lake coming in there at the last second. Princeton now back off to the top. Parker Reynolds trying to make something happen. Sends it off for Bonanno. Or excuse me, that's Tucker Wade. Tucker Wade now driving it inside. Looked like he wanted a shot. He does shoot it, but it's saved there by Rupel. Now Maryland will go back on offense. 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining to score 3 goals. Maryland trying to move with tempo. It's Eric Spanos. Spanos driving it inside. Trying to find somebody in the middle, but he's got nobody. Sends it back off for Leo Johnson. Now Zach Whittier in the game for the Terps. Whittier coming off the right side. Taking it behind the net. Sends it back for Johnson. Johnson driving inside. Getting hit a bunch. Now Whittier. Back for Spanos. Spanos shoots. He scores! The senior from Maryland coming up big once again. Scoring their last 2 goals. And all of a sudden, with 3 minutes and 16 seconds remaining, Maryland is down by just 2. Spanos' 8th goal of the season so far.
And his 4th of the day, and when you need a goal, you call on the guy. There's a reason that John Tillman decided to give Eric Spanos a number 1 uniform, a decision that is never taken lightly, and he has come up now with 2 huge goals to close this gap. And this is what I mean with Maryland. The quick passes, a fast movement. They were able to find a guy when they play a little bit slower and try to let the defense come to them. Gives Princeton the advantage. Another big face-off coming up now.
Once again, it's Carrier for the Terps and McMeekin for the Tigers. They go, they wrestle, and it's won once again by Carrier. Carrier sends it back for Lake. Lake trying to set up the Terps offense. Sends it off for Will Schaller on the right side. Schaller's able to get it across. The Terps, with time winding down, need 2 goals to tie this one. Just under 3 minutes to play. Zach Whittier back in the game for the Terps, and he's moving with tempo, driving it inside, taking it behind the net. Whittier went to the left, now back to the right. His pole getting whacked a bunch by Princeton defenders. Off for Lyons, now off for Schultz on the left side. Back to Whittier, back to Johnson on the right. Johnson trying to drive inside. Johnson sends it back to Lyons on the left. Lyons trying to get inside. He shoots, and it's saved by Croddick. Heavy contact there between the Terps and the Tigers. and the refs are ruling that Maryland will keep possession.
I think it was a foul. I think he got pushed down inside the box there. There was a lot of Princeton defenders around the area.
Play resumes, 2:23 to play. Maryland still needs 2 goals. This is Jack Schultz. Taking it inside, now off for Whittier on the right. To Spanos behind the net. Spanos with Whittier right alongside him. Switching the point of attack to the left. Spanos driving it along. Guarded tight by Princeton's long pole. Spanos keeps possession, shoots, and it goes off the crossbar. Both players diving, and it will be Princeton possession. Spanos did his best to keep it with the Terps, but was beat out there by Princeton.
I think Jack Stahl just had an extra step on him, and sometimes that's how these games are decided.
Now 1:48 to play, and Princeton's back on offense, but Maryland's swarming. The ball's on the ground. Nobody can seem to find it. Now it's back in Maryland's possession. Chris Lake back to Rupel. Now to Lyons. Princeton in transition mode. Lyons taking inside, and he shoots and scores! And he took some heavy contact after that one. Bent over as his Maryland teammates come to check on him. It looks like the athletic training staff will come take a look as he's now down on his hands and knees. He got whacked at the end there. Once again, Maryland, using their quick transition offense, are all of a sudden just 1 goal away. They've scored 3 unanswered. And it looks like Eric Spanos is a little banged up too from his last diving attempt.
You'll sit down. I mean, fantastic defense to offense for the Terps. Schaller and Peter Lake absolutely harassing Nate Kabiri and Jackson Green up at midfield there. You have to be ultra aggressive. They were able to get the ball down. They got their sticks down without fouling. Just phenomenal transition for Chris Lyons, who's still on the ground. Not really sure what exactly happened. It looked like from our vantage point up here after the shot, he was grabbing onto his wrist.
He's back on his feet and headed toward the Maryland bench as this Maryland crowd gives him some applause.
Concussion, that was a fantastic goal right there from Chris Lyons, his 5th of the season, and boy, couldn't have asked for it at a better moment too. Now Maryland turning up the intensity. 87 seconds left, and we got just a 1-goal game.
That will likely be the last we see of Lyons, though, as he heads into the red medical tent on the sideline. Medical staff want to take another look. But if you're going to go down swinging, and that's exactly what Lyons did. Like you said, Jackson, just 87 seconds remaining here in this game. But just a couple minutes ago, Maryland was down by 4. They're now just down by 1.
Yeah,
He used a 3-goal scoring range to get back in it in the 3rd quarter before allowing another Princeton run. Can they make it 4 this time around and tie this game with time winding down?
Yeah, this is a monumental face-off right here. Sorry, I feel bad for almost interrupting you there, but Tillman's deciding to send out Jonah Carrier for this one, because if Princeton wins his face-off, they can take this down to well under 30 seconds left on the clock.
It'll be Carrier once again for the Terps against McMeekin. McMeekin gets it into his own sideline, and he gets it for Princeton.
Struggled this half, McMeekin, but he won the draw that matters. Now Maryland's got to be ultra aggressive. Might have to start doubling the ball, which they are.
Maryland putting 2 men on each Princeton player in the offensive zone. Whoever's got the ball is going to have 2 men on him for the rest of the game. We are down to just 1 minute remaining. Meanwhile,
Rupel is out of goal here now, too, to try to bring that extra defender.
Maryland with no goaltender as they bring in an extra defender to try and get this ball back.
Rupel, you can see Rupel all the way up top at midfield. If Princeton has just the right angle, they'll be able to end this.
Princeton trying to move it around and wind this clock down. Now down to 35 seconds. They have 30 on the shot clock. They can make it 3 seconds left for Maryland, but Maryland gets the ball. It's once again Lake. Now Maryland moving with some speed, taking it down. A quick shot that goes just over the post. A bad miss there from Eric Kolar. But it appears that a timeout was called prior to the shot. from Princeton.
And look, just a fantastic play from Lake. That's why you double the ball. Great job getting his stick up right into his pocket. A little too much pressure on Kabiri and Kolar. Not a bad shot. I mean, I don't think you can really blame him for taking that shot. He had Croddick dead to right. No one was near him. Just a little bit too high, though. It was a good timeout now. Staying Maryland possession. They can hold this to the game. It'll be interesting to see what John Tillman does here.
Both teams in their respective offensive and defensive huddles. The shot from Kolar at least still gives the Terps the chance at a final possession, like you said, Jackson. 22.6 seconds remaining. And we have seen this Maryland team in years past under Tillman pull off some dramatic comeback wins. Do they have another one?
Yeah, the way this, I'd say the last few minutes have gone, Maryland's got all the momentum and they're in the right space to potentially get a goal here. And I think be interesting to see what the conversations are like with Michael Phipps, the offensive coordinator, and his offense. You got plenty of options. We'll see if they go to Spanos, who's been the guy. Leo Johnson has also had a good day so far, and this is the type of game where you really don't want to lose this one at home. But if you're Maryland, I think you want to get, you got to hold to last possession, because if you take one of those shots, unless you know you have an open look, you don't want to put the ball into Princeton's hands and play keep away. We'll see. Maryland likely going to send out that first midfield line. Definitely going to want to have Stovall out there. Definitely going to want to have Jack Schultz out there. We'll see if they maybe mix it up, put Zach Whittier, and it looks like Chris Lyons walking right back onto the field after his goal really helped this game become closer. Looks like Erks is going to be the one starting behind X, and this is why we love college lacrosse, Andrew. It's these moments you have a top 12 matchup, two elite teams.
Like you said, Jackson, Lions back out there after suffering what looked like a wrist injury on that last Maryland goal that made it a one-goal game. Maryland now with the chance to tie it and send this thing to overtime. It'll be Erksa. It'll be Leo Johnson. It'll be Elijah Stovall. It'll be Eric Spanos. And it'll be Matt Higgins along with Lyons going back out there. Maryland is one of the best offenses in the country, and they're putting their best men out there.
Seeing the trust in true freshman Matt Higgins from John Tillman. See guys like Jack Schultz not out there, Zach Whittier not out there. He needs his offensive guys. He needs his attackmen who can create. There still seems to be some kind of holdup. Not sure what it is, but if you're Princeton right now, you got to just have this bend but don't break mentality. Jeremy Hirsch, the defensive coordinator, probably telling his guys to hold firm, don't get too aggressive. If any of these guys on Maryland have just a little bit of space, they're going to take it.
Jackson, we've seen the success for Maryland today has been from moving the ball quickly. And on this possession, they're not going to have any choice but to do so. 22.6 seconds remaining as they look to try to avoid going 1 and 2. For the first time, I can't even remember when the last time they started 1 and 2 under 2 was.
And I think during the timeout, the referees took a break, went to the monitor to determine possession. It's going to stay with Maryland.
Here we go. Princeton coming back onto the field. Ryan Croddick, the Tiger goaltender, has been excellent here today. Maryland's been able to get a couple by him down low. And we're back underway. Erksa taking it behind the net, switching it, gets a screen. Erksa moving on the left, sends it back for Higgins. Higgins taking a shot, he misses. And that one was deflected by the referee. Neither player could find it. It would have been Maryland ball had it not hit the referee's foot. Now a discussion is taking place as to who will take possession, because Princeton did recover it.
It was a awfully late call by the ref, too. About 3 seconds went by before he called it. You'd think it becomes Maryland possession simply because they were the ones near it. It'll probably be possession starting from where the ball deflected off the ref's foot. Looks like that's what they're going to do. 7 seconds left now. So now we're nothing for the Terps.
It'll be Matt Higgins. Like you said, the freshman who John Tillman has placed a lot of trust in. He'll have Urksa right in front of him. Stovall, Lyons out far. Spanos and Johnson in near the net. Now or never for the Terps. But the refs now are taking a break to head to what looks like it might be the monitor.
John Tillman threw the red flag. Not sure what he's challenging here. It might be time left on the clock. 'Cause like I said, about a couple seconds went by before the ref made the call. Should maybe be about 9 or 10 seconds left if it's true.
Either way, it'll be between 7 and 10 seconds left in this top 12 matchup here in the Mecca of lacrosse in the state of Maryland between these two high-powered, high-octane teams, Maryland Terrapins and the Princeton Tigers.
And
both teams head back to their huddles as the refs talk over the amount of time to put back on the clock.
And boy, what would a win mean really for either of these teams? I mean, especially you look at Princeton after an upset loss to Penn State. I mean, we were talking about this before the broadcast too, Andrew. I mean, the rest of the schedule for Princeton in the non-conference slate is brutal. Just after this game in 6 days, they're playing the #1 ranked team in Syracuse. So you play the top 2 teams 2 straight games, and just 4 days later on March 1st, they get #5 North Carolina. And just 6 days later, you get #19 Rutgers. And then most of Ivy League conference play starts. So this win would be huge for Princeton and not have to go into the rest of that gauntlet 0-2. And for Maryland, they got Notre Dame coming up in a week. So a game that if you fall to 0-2 or 1-2, you might not be set up all too well for the rest of the season.
Matt Madelon, the head coach of this Princeton program, has slowly made them more and more of a national competitor year over year. They went 8-7 in 2023, 11-5 in 2024, and 13-4 in 2025, which ended with a loss in the NCAA quarterfinals. Meanwhile, for this Maryland team, they're coming off back-to-back losses in the national championship. The referees have made their decision. There is now 9 seconds left on the play clock. It'll once again be Matt Higgins. Starting from the very far side on the right. Higgins driving it inside. Tries to get a screen. Now Higgins taking it in. Time winding down, 3 seconds. Maryland shoots, and it's saved by Chronic. And the game is over. The Princeton Tigers storm into College Park and upset the #2 team in the country in the Maryland Terrapins.
That was about as good of a look and a possession as you could get from Maryland. Stovall was in a great position, got a great pass off the cut in the shot, but Ryan Chronic, boy, what a bounce back day that he had in just key saves and key moments, and he made the play of the game right there.
It might just be an early season game, but you can see just how much this game means to this Princeton team. They swarm Chronic in the crease, and they get their first win of the season. And like you said, Jackson, that's big time with 3 more ranked opponents next on their schedule.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Maryland now, it's 1-2. I mean, you haven't lost to bad teams, lost to the #1 team, now Princeton, but at home, it's not the start that this team was projected to have this season. This is going to be a rough one for the Terps.
Like you said just a moment ago, they've got #8 Notre Dame up next. That'll be home next Saturday, where the Terps will look to rebound. Signing off for WMSC Sports, a disappointing loss for these Terps, but a lot of season left. Princeton will head back to New Jersey victorious over the #2 team in the country. For WMSC Sports, I'm Andrew Breza, joined by Jackson Wantman. We want to thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.